So is
Are
there?
you? Yeah. So is the voice audible?
Yes. Do we get to see the number of participants or people who've logged in?
Yes. You can see on the right, audience is there. Hi, everyone.
Yeah, hi everyone. I can see like 15 people are in the group, I guess, and 11 are watching. I think through streaming. I'm not sure how to look at those. Is there any list of people? But like, I just see the numbers here, right at the extreme left.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see. We'll see to it. I think there is an option there. So let's get started, guys. I think it's the time.
Great.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. So my name is Nitin Naveen, and I'm heading the AI Core Spot Innovation and Strategy team. We started a couple of months back with latest technology, and obviously we are into event space, so we want to make it a community where all the Industry 4.0 technologies can be in place. So as an AI Core Spot, our vision is to serve as a hub for info regarding Industry 4.0 technologies. We are into AI, ML, deep learning, robotics, IoT, edge computing, analytics, 5G, drone, edge AI, digital twin, AR cloud. So all these technologies will be having the events at the later stage. We are starting with the today's event. Obviously, it's AI in retail and e-commerce. So as a community, obviously, we want it to be an AI-driven community, which should be disruptive as the technology is demystifies. We are getting the industry-backed events, reliable data from industry leaders who will be present today, sponsors, subject matter experts, and thought leaders. Obviously, the content will be huge. We'll be getting all the contents from the speakers. Then parallelly, we will also be putting blogs, videos, newsletters, digital content to shed light on the Industry 4.0 technology. So just to start with, obviously, today's topic is retail and e-commerce with AI. We have three great set of speakers who will present around 20 minutes each. We have the first speaker, Pia Mohapatra, who's the director in data science Monster. Her topic is building data products for a two-sided e-commerce marketplace. Then we have Nikunj Nirmal, who is the principal technology solutions and strategy programs from Amazon. So his topic is leveraging AI for excellence in customer experience. Then we have Rishi Kumar, who is AVP in Bacteria Edge, and his topic is future of retail and e-commerce with AI. Then this is around 60-minute slots, so 20 minutes each. Then we will move on to any question and answers if anybody of you have. Just to let all of you know, this is a 1-hour session, engaging one, and speakers obviously will do their best to get all the things moving, whatever topics I just announced. So let's start with the first presentation, which we have from Pia. And just to let all of you know, before starting with Pia, we have a lot of community partners. Obviously, all the companies are supporting us who are presenting in this forum, as well as we have a technology partner, Digit7, who is based out of Dallas, US, and they are great in technology and consulting. So we are backed by their presence, and luckily we are moving on in the right direction. And this year is a lot of good engagement with us. So hope to see all of you in the next events as well. So let's start with Pia. Pia, may I have you on the stage?
Yeah, absolutely. Is my voice clear? Can you hear me properly?
Yes.
Cool. Sounds good. Should we start the screen sharing maybe?
Yeah. So Arvind will share the screen and then we'll start.
Sounds good. Thanks so much,
Thank you,
Arvind.
Pia. Over to you.
Thank you. So I am Pia Mohapatra. I lead the data science team at monster.com. And today I'm going to speak to you about the 5 must-have products for two-sided e-com marketplaces. So the machine learning products that e-com marketplaces mostly leverage. And they use that to power customer experiences and everything that the marketplace does. Could we move on to the next slide, please? Thanks. So first things first, what is a two-sided e-com marketplace? We're all familiar with what an online marketplace looks like because we use so many of them in our day-to-day lives. There is a buyer who's looking for either goods or services, and a seller. And I'm keeping these terms pretty generic, and these change depending on the nature of the platform and what products or services they're selling. Right. So the e-com marketplace serves as an intermediary facilitator of this transaction. These marketplaces may or may not have elements of a social network. And most of the big marketplaces tend to focus on just the transaction. Some also try and build a community around the products that someone's selling. And you can like or favorite them, or you can have a list of favorite shops and such. But most big marketplaces just tend to focus on making the transaction go smoothly. So in the process of this, the marketplace ends up consuming and storing a host of data elements in order to facilitate this exchange that happens. So if we move to the next slide, please. Right, so these are a few common e-com marketplaces that we all know of, and a lot of these platforms allow the same entity, which is the user, to function as both the buyer and the seller, like Poshmark, that lets you sell your used items of clothing or accessories, and simultaneously, using the same login information, you can also buy. So buying and selling can be accessed through the same credentials. However, most other platforms like Etsy, Monster, my own company, Amazon, eBay, Care.com, they will require you to set up two different entities if you want to operate on different sides of the market. And this lets the platform have access to the different kinds of data that you're sharing with them. Right, so this obviously impacts the type of data that the users end up providing. And if I take Monster's case, for example, as a candidate, the user has to provide things like their resume that has their work experience, their education, their job title, their skills, proficiency, a host of data points. Well, as a job poster, you have to provide your credentials for the company that you work for, information about the company, about location, about benefits, and all of that, right? In order to be able to post a job. And then the job posting itself is the main content that you're providing to the platform. So let's take a look at the different kinds of data elements first, and then we can talk about using these data elements, what we can create in terms of data products, right? So moving on to the next slide, we have three big types of data. So the first is user provided, which means either the buyer or the seller is setting up an account, and they're providing their name, location, maybe preferences. In Monster's case, we get access to a person's resume, whereas the seller, in Monster's case, the seller is the seller of job postings. They provide things like listing details, the job posting details, where is it located, what is the nature of the role, or if it's a marketplace that sells goods and services, you'll have listing details like the product, when it was made, the price, shipping information, all of that stuff. Now, what also happens is that there is a lot of PII information. So PII is personally identifiable information. So also, this list by no means is exhaustive. So this is just a short list. So when PII information is provided, like name, date of birth, address, credit card information, special care has to be taken to scrub or mask these data points before surfacing them anywhere for either internal analytics or for data science, for building data products. And I place special emphasis on this because not doing this can obviously lead to all sorts of data breaches, violations of personal information, or if used incorrectly in your machine learning models, that can lead to serious biases that develop, right? So we absolutely have to be careful about when using personal data that we mask the PII information, and for other personal fields, we use them the right way. Anyway, moving on. So the user data can be from either the buyer or the seller, and that is the content on the platform that is being traded. Moving on to, log data. So log data is what is generated from tags on the platform properties. So all of your pages on a website have tags on all the elements that are clickable. And these tags fire each time that a user interacts with the specific element on the platform pages. So for example, if I'm searching for a job on monster.com and I see 50 jobs, I like the third one and I click on it, the tag will fire, sending information to monster.com saying that user ID so-and-so has clicked on this job and they have viewed it. Right? So that information will be stored. So examples of these activities are viewing items, logging into your account, purchasing something, or just even clicking around the pages. Right? So these are your action data points that go back to the platform as signals that are being sent. Now, this kind of data, as you can imagine, the volume is tremendous. So this truly is big data because millions of such interactions happen every day, every minute, every hour, and they need to be persisted over time. Most machine learning models, if you need to be able to train them on a robust set, it has to go back a considerable amount of time. It has to be at least months, if not years. So you can imagine that this kind of data can span millions and millions of rows, and these can be petabytes in size. And storage can get pretty expensive. However, such data points are extremely valuable because they tell us about the preferences that people have, and let's create algorithms off of them. So companies value this kind of information. They spend a lot of money in retaining all of this. If you can go to the next slide, please. So there are a lot of other data systems that also generate information from the platform, like payment systems, advertising platforms, your marketing platform. And these are more customized to the products that the platform is selling, and it might differ a lot from site to site. However, for the purposes of today's presentation, we'll focus mainly on the first two types of data sources. Excuse me. All right, so moving on to the next section now. So having understood what it is that we have as raw materials, what are the 5 must-have data products that almost all the big e-com marketplaces have? And if you're looking to start one, you should absolutely have these. So the first one is a no-brainer. It's a search engine, right? If you have a platform that is supposed to let users interact with each other and for the buyers and sellers to be able to find each other, you absolutely need to have a search engine so that people can type in keywords and they can find what they're looking for. Now, almost every website has a search bar, and the data elements that are used to power this are usually user-provided data. Although these can be supplemented by other data types as well, the meat of the content comes from the user-provided data. And the most common search algorithms will take in search keywords or inputs from the users, and they will match them against content in order to be able to surface results. Now, it can be, if I'm looking for say, handmade cards on Etsy. I will type in handmade cards, and Etsy's algorithm will take my keywords and will match them against all the product descriptions that have these keywords. I'm oversimplifying, obviously, but that's one of the most common ways of doing matching. Now, moving on to the next slide, we also have a matching engine which is distinct from searching, because matching searching is more user driven, whereas matching is more it can be more proactive. Obviously, search results can have a lot of personalization elements attached to them, but the primary focus on keywords, the primary focus is on the keywords that are provided by the user. On the other hand, matching takes into account either your past actions that have been taken, like purchases, items viewed, or even the keywords that you've searched for in the past, or user content. Like if I am providing a resume to monster.com, they know what my current job title is, what my educational background is, what my skills are. So they can take that, and also my location, right? So they can proactively take that information, look for the best jobs that fit my skills and for which I am a fit. And they can surface them to me in a feed, or they can send them to me over email and say, hey, Pia, look, these are the 5 best jobs that match your profile that you might be interested in. And this is a great way to interact with your customers, because it lets them know, it gives them a sense of being understood and being known. And it also minimizes the amount of time that I have to spend searching on your platform. If you already have my history and you know what it is that I'm looking for, you can just cut the time out, and you can directly go from the action that was taken in the past to ready to go to applies directly. Or if I'm on a marketplace like Amazon, I can already be shown things that I'm interested in. So when I log in the next time, I will see a list of I don't know what is the latest thing I bought. I think I bought water bottles. So I keep getting suggestions about home improvement products or kitchen appliances, and that's a great way to also keep the users engaged and sort of hook them in, right? Which is what most marketplaces want to keep doing. It shouldn't just focus on that one transaction, but you have to keep coming back. So that hook is very important. Now, moving on to sorry, if you could go back a slide. I digressed and I started. Yeah. So we can go into the different kinds of matching engines. Now, one of the most commonly used matching algorithms is collaborative filtering based, which mainly uses user interaction data to find other people who look like me and who have taken actions like me in the past. And it finds products and services that they have liked and they have maybe purchased and that I haven't. And they start surfacing those to me. So that's one where the profile information is not that important. It's more of it focuses on the actions that have been taken in the past. Content-based is more focused on the content that the user is proactively providing and using that to match and make the suggestions, right? So if I take Monster's case, for example, we have the resume and we have the job description. And we can match keywords in those, we can match the skills, we can match job titles, location, and all of that, and use that to match, to make a match between the candidate and the job opening. Now, both of these methods have their own shortcomings. For collaborative filtering, we have something called the cold start problem, where if I'm a new user on your platform and you don't have enough history about me, you don't know anything about what to recommend to me. So when I open up your app on my phone or my tablet, all I see is generic recommendations, right? Whereas when you use only content-based matching, it can it can tend to not pick up on signals that I might have been providing to you, and you may not follow what my latest interests are. So a lot of companies tend to use an ensemble approach or a hybrid approach where they use recommendations from both the collaborative and content-based models in order to come up with the final list of recommendations that needs to be surfaced to the user. All right, so moving on to the next slide. This is a personal favorite, internal knowledge base. And this is nothing but a classification system. And it has to be a good, robust classification system that you can hook up all your machine learning algorithms to. So it could be either a graph database, which is very common, or it could just be even a relational database. But the important thing to understand here is to have an internal classification system that clearly identifies subcategories and categories of products. And that can be used in order to shorten either search time, because you can have drop-downs that can be pre-populated, or you could pre-populate skills if you know what a job title is, or you can use them in your recommendation systems, right? So an internal knowledge base is very, very important. In the case of Monster, for instance, we have a knowledge base that has 7,000 job categories and over 11,000 skills. So we know for each occupation what are the most common job titles that fall underneath it, and for each job title, what are the skills that can be mapped to that job title. So it becomes pretty easy for us to understand if we have your resume. We can see what other occupations you might also be a good fit for, and we can use those to recommend alternative career paths to you, or if you're looking for other jobs. If you're looking for jobs in a location that doesn't have the job that you're looking for, we could suggest alternatives to you, right? So it can be a pretty useful and powerful thing. The best knowledge bases use advanced natural language processing algorithms in order to identify and update and sort of keep it alive, so that you don't miss out on any new products that might be coming up in the market that are being commonly searched for, commonly being purchased. And you can add it to your inventory, you can add it to that master list, so that you can then have that surface up in your recommendations and stuff. And the choice of technology for where to store this knowledge base really depends on the use case. So if you need to focus on surfacing the results directly from the knowledge base into your application, then either a GraphDB or even Elasticsearch might work. Whereas if it's just mostly for internal analytics, a relational database might not be a bad choice. All right, moving on to the next slide. Quality scoring. And by this, I mean letting your users understand what it is in a non-judgmental way, what it is that really drives performance on your platform, so that they can take that information and act on it in order to improve the outcomes that they're seeing. So if we're talking about selling handmade cards, for instance, the algorithm will look at my listing, assess the quality of the posting, and let me know that, hey, maybe you should provide shipping information, or how many days it takes for this product to ship to your location. Or maybe the description is not good enough, it doesn't have enough keywords. If you're selling handmade cards, our knowledge base tells us that here are the key descriptors that you should have in your posting. Do you want to maybe include these in your posting, so that people can understand what it is truly that you're selling, and you can see better outcomes? So This quality scoring lets you know if your product listing is good enough, if you can make it any better, and how does your posting compare against others selling the same items? And in the case of Monster, for instance, guided job posting wizards have seen a significant better performance than the old job postings, where all you did was upload a job description and hit submit. And then it's up to the users to figure out what it is that you're truly posting. So instead, we have assessed that if we let people know that, hey, these are the 5 ways in which your posting could be improved, it makes the users, the job posters, feel more understood, and it helps them, right? So quality scoring is one of my favorite algorithms in the inventory. Awesome. Moving on to the next slide. So measures of engagement, last but not the least. If you have been doing the first 4 correctly, hopefully your measure of engagement should be pretty high. But it is crucial to understand what it is that your users are looking for on your platform. And being able to assess buyer and seller engagement is critical. And they can be an instant indicator about the health of your business, about the health of your service. And these are typically calculated using user log data, because you have to focus on, and because these are also important business metrics, leaders will want to look at these maybe every week, if not every day, in order to understand the recent performance of the platform. So these are usually calculated using user log data. And examples could be number of sales per user, or purchases per active buyer, the number of active buyers or sellers on your platform, or the number of clicks per minute, things like that. And that should give you a pretty good idea about the direction in which things are moving on your platform. So with that, I come to a close for my presentation, and I'll be open for questions at the end.
Thank you, Pia. Thank you for the lovely presentation and engaging the audience. I know it was a lovely thing which you said about building data products using the two-sided e-commerce marketplace. Hope the audience who are present must have liked your presentation, and they can ask questions to you in case of anything at the end of the session. All the 3 sessions, yeah. Anybody of you who joined late, just you were listening to Pia, who is the director in Monster, and she has taken the first talk for the day. Now we'll move on to the second talk for the day by Mr. Nikunj, whose topic is leveraging AI for excellence in customer experience. So we'll try to set his presentation, and then we'll start. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Nathan, do you want me to get started or wait for 5 minutes?
We can start, Nikunj.
Okay, great. Thank you all. Appreciate this opportunity to share my thoughts. And just to start with, I want to put a disclaimer out that the thoughts here are not necessarily endorsed by Amazon in any way. Just what my observations are in the industry and where the industry is going. The way I look at customer experience and leveraging AI, I think most of the times I see the industry experts think about implementing technologies like chatbot and other things so that the customer experience, or I would say the contact center experience, improves. But my belief is a little different. I think that it depends on the underlying technologies, underlying platforms, and how you enable the entire channel experience, be it on the digital front, be it in store, or be it how you deliver to the customer. Right? So all those aspects come into play when we talk about customer experience, because it's those different small and big touch points is what defines how your brand experience or how your brand is perceived by the customers. So from that perspective, I've taken a broader view. Some of the items maybe seem at first as a long stretch to connect with customer experience, but at the end of the day, it all boils down to it. If you go to the next slide. So looking at a broader view of AI in retail and e-commerce, while I'll focus more on the CX part of it, we know that the AI is taking a center stage in pretty much all technology discussions, and retail and e-commerce is no different. And with the first set of use cases, again, directly related to the CX more from a contact center perspective. These are the numbers. I'm sure a lot of you would have encountered these numbers. 42% CAGR by 2025. This is a huge market in itself, and it's continued to grow more and more. To the next one. So just to take a backseat and take a larger view, right? What are the companies really doing? So looking at fake reviews, chatbots, product recommendations, personalization, supply chain efficiency, optimization of the fulfillment center, and many more. Right? These are the cases where it's already in use. So what I'll go through is some of the more prevalent use cases where AI is implemented for CX, and then look at some of the emerging ones. Doesn't mean emerging ones are not really implemented, but not really adopted in a wide way. Go to the next one. Yeah. So this is my take on what is a popular implementation today. Product recommendations, we don't really need to be the experts to understand this. We, as customers, have really seen how the product recommendations come in intelligently and tell us, if you like this, you may like this as well. As simple as that. But it goes much beyond that, and we have seen this even with platforms like Netflix, where I look at each of the movies as a product, right, that is getting recommended to us. Similarly, personalization, this kind of goes hand in hand, but personalization goes a step beyond in terms of the experience itself. How do I get that consistent experience across all different channels, not just when I'm interacting on the digital forefront? Yeah, customer support, yes, this is something which is the most common use case, or probably I think the one which is more widely adopted, even by the companies that are not really operating in the e-commerce or retail field, but they have some type of customer connect. And here, I believe the strength lies in underlying platforms that enable the agents, or the ones that enable the chatbots itself. The strength of how much you can do. See, natural language processing can do something, but it really needs the intelligence coming in and the integration with the legacy systems. And the biggest challenge I've seen over here is how we can enable those legacy systems to create a unified view of an issue, unified view of a customer, or unified view of an order in a way, and then to be able to cater to the customers. And that can be done either through an automated bot, it can either be done by enabling the agent with the right level of information to reduce the call times and providing a true delight in the conversation. Inventory management. Now, this goes partly with the supply chain as well, but having the right level of inventory can really delight the customers. Right? If I want something and it is available, I'm going to be happy about it. But to be able to do that, right level of prediction, right level of fulfillment at the right time, at the right fulfillment centers. Even if there is something that is available in inventory, but if it is going to be delivered to me in 15 days, I'm not going to be happy about that. So that's why I believe inventory management is a key part. And it goes even in the retail stores, where you go to the store and you realize that you're looking for something, you don't have it in the store. And then the last piece is the checkout queues. This is, I would say, at the borderline of an evolving use case, because there are very few retailers who have adopted this. Amazon, of course, is one of the pioneers in this case, where you're eliminating the checkout queues. We've got smart AI-based image recognition technologies, where you You can go to the Amazon Go stores and just walk out. And secondly, the Amazon Fresh stores where there are smart carts, so you don't really need to check out. The moment you put something in the cart and you take it out, that's it. It does the additional removal and the final payment when you go out. So these are some of the use cases which I believe are popularly implemented or towards towards more adoption than the next set of the ones that I'd like to cover. Go on to the next one. Again, not really something very new, but the AR/VR shopping. So the way I look at it, fashion industry has an early start on this, where we are able to look at what, say, a piece of clothing, how will it look on me? Now that changes the experience of shopping itself. It reduces the time that somebody needs to take to go in. It reduces the inconvenience. Dynamic pricing. Now, where I have mentioned here is higher profitability, which may be counterintuitive to CX, but higher profitability means that companies are able to invest more in this, more in the CX for the customers, and that's how it directly drives an improvement in the experience. It can be lower pricing also, actually. If there is a product where the demand is low and you are able to dynamically change the pricing, think of a store where you have electronic displays instead of the paper-based displays for the pricing, and you are walking through and suddenly you realize that something that I saw was X dollars, now it is at 0.5x. It's going to be very, very beneficial both for the company as well as for the customer, and it improves the delight. Customer-centric search and the visual search. So this is something where I believe that, I think the text over there is incorrect. I apologize for that. But the customer-centric search, what I meant by this is when I'm looking for a product, I go onto an e-commerce site and I search for something. Should take into account what are my preferences from the past searches, right, or similar products that I have bought. And instead of the company telling me that these are recommended, look at my own preferences, look at my demographics, look at the age group, and then figure out what is the most likely item that I'm going to be able to buy. So while this is done in the recommendations, I think the search results I haven't still seen this. Right? And the visual search is adopted by some of the companies. It's still an evolving use case. And the conversational commerce. So this is again going back to improving the experience of shopping itself. So that really leads to a better CX. So shopping over the likes of Siri, Alexa, chatbots. I had encountered, I forgot the name of the brand, but a shoe store where you don't have a catalog displayed out there. You work with a bot, you tell your requirements, and from there on, it takes forward with the recommendation. Okay, if there's other requirements, this is what you're looking for. These are the best setups. The catalog is customized beforehand, before I start browsing. So that's kind of a form of conversational commerce, but more so shopping over the devices at home. I think that is an evolving field. While there has been a significant progress already done on this, I think it will go to next level where a high level of personalization will still come in, as well as there will be a much more customized approach because there you have a live feedback from the customer. So there's an opportunity to take a live feedback and change your recommendations on the go. And that eventually gets me a better product in a shorter period of time. And that is something that the customer I would really appreciate. And go on to the next one. In-store analytics. Now, to really improve the customer experience, we need to focus on understanding the customer itself. So how long a customer is dwelling in a particular location? What are the navigation paths? Can you optimize those navigation paths? What are the targeted sales that you have in mind versus what really customer is dwelling on? So that highlights the difference in terms of your approach versus what customer is looking for. And then in-store services, if you see a customer is languishing around a particular product for a long time, maybe has questions, or maybe you can give a nudge, provide the right level of information at that point of time, and help customer make a decision one way or the other. But it doesn't have to result into a sale. It has to result into the customer being happy about that experience. IoT makes life really easy. You have direct, we have seen the dash buttons, a very easy way to place orders. At the same time, I think the use case, this has been around for a long time. I haven't really seen a wider adoption yet, but the connected devices and appliances where you have a reorder level defined, and then based on the reorder level, I get a direct fulfillment. So it's akin to a demand-based subscription other than a fixed subscription where you get a protein powder every month or 2 months or 3 months. Third piece is the virtual personal shoppers and assistant. While traditionally in the retail industry there has been personal shoppers who would help individuals out to pick the best items, but going beyond that, and because it's not always affordable, right? The moment you are employing those, there is an implicit cost, even though you're directly added to your help. But making that available to a wider audience, I think that is going to be a differentiator for the companies that can adopt that early on. And then in-store robotic assistants, we have seen that at Lowe's and a lot of other companies, right? They have been doing this in-store robot assistants where you can ask the questions. It essentially frees up the human power for questions. So as simple as, whenever I at least go to a hardware store, I'm lost where to go and find things. And that is the biggest question I have whenever I see a human working over there. So instead of that, a bot can easily answer the question for me. I don't really need to use that human capital to get that answer, but they can answer more customized questions that I have. Whether a particular tool would be a right choice for the task I have in mind. So those are the different aspects I think we should look at to leverage the the virtual assistants. And the fake reviews, this is something I have been personally frustrated about, where, and I mentioned this in both the cases, right, an emerging use case as well as something that is implemented, because it's not very, very widely adopted. It still needs improvement. I still encounter a lot of fake reviews. I have encountered situations with different stores where the review doesn't really match the product, but it adds to the rating of the product. And then I have found a practice to go and randomly pick a few reviews before I make a decision. But that essentially means that I'm spending more time for decision making. I'm browsing through more products, something that I can rely on or have a trustworthy relationship directly based on the number of reviews and the rating. I can't do that, at least personally. So I think there is a huge chance for improvement over there, which I think a lot of companies are working towards. Go on to the next one. Counterfeit products. I think there are a multitude of technologies that can come in. Blockchain is definitely one of them, where we can tackle counterfeit products, but not all the small vendors would be in a position to be a part of the blockchain. So from that perspective, I think driving more machine learning to understand what are the attributes, what are the customer claims typically on a product, the history of the brand, category, and look at what are the most common categories where we see counterfeit products. This is really, really important. I have personally faced this a couple of times. I received a product which was counterfeit. It stopped working in a few days. It was a Bluetooth headset. Tried to reach out to I don't want to name the company, but I tried to reach out to them. And they asked me for some serial number and other things. And then I realized, oh, this is a fake product. So there was nothing I could do about it after that. Enabling the influencers. So the social media taking a center stage again, there is a large number of influencers who are able to actually increase the sales for your brand. Now, finding the best one so that you can reach to the right set of audience is crucial. And that's where I think AI and machine learning can play a crucial role to do the matchmaking between the companies and the social media influencers that benefits the companies as well as the customers, because now they have the right set of products and right set of recommendations coming their way through a different channel. Right? I think this is as another channel of sales. Automation in warehouses, again, a use case which is adopted at a lot of places, still can go more advanced and seeks wider adoption. But essentially, this means that you can reduce the cost. That is one of the biggest drivers, which improves experience. At the same time, uh, with more optimized processes, the fulfillment times are lower, your error rates are lower, and at the end of the day, you are processing less returns. You are getting things to the customers in at a lower cost at the right time, or even at a more optimized time. And of course, your entire inventory management process becomes more automated when you have the fulfillment centers or the warehouses equipped with right level of automation. Uh, Amazon has done, in my opinion, Amazon has done a decent job with this. Uh, I don't know if anyone of you had a chance, but there are tours open to public. You can take those fulfillment center tours to see what happens at those warehouses. And then the intelligent catalog. So when I'm looking for, say, let's take an example. I'm looking for a jacket, and then I'm looking for certain characteristics in a jacket. It becomes really difficult because there is no way you can have all the characteristics defined for a particular product in the catalog. So looking at what customers are talking about from the reviews, then looking at the images, and then looking at other attributes in terms of where it is sourced from, the location, etc., etc. You create a set of automated tagging of the products, right? And those are the additional features which should feed into search, which should feed into category identification as well. And that way, just beyond the color and the size, I have other characteristics I can look on. And this applies to a lot of, I mean, it pretty much applies to all categories, right, if we look at it. So I think I think this was the last slide. Can you go on to the next one? Most likely, I think this was the last one. Or there's one more. No, that was the last. Okay, good. Yeah, so I think those are some of the thoughts I had where we have a huge opportunity to improve the underlying processes, to improve the way we work with in-house teams, the way we work with the customers, the way we provide an experience within the stores, online, or with the channels such as customer support channels, influencers, etc., etc. But I think it goes a much wider and a broader way for the entire set of operations. So my thought is always that we look at core enablement first before we can think about individual use cases. But those are my thoughts. Happy to, if there are any questions, happy to take those, or any points that anybody wants to make, I'll be happy to learn as well.
Thank you, Nikunj. Thank you. Thank you for the lovely session. And I think it was an engaging one as well. The thought process which you told, I hope the audience which is listening to you will gain something out of this. And I know, means from morning we had Pia, then you. Obviously, it's a 1 hour slot, so you are trying to give your best in the particular slot in which you are in. So, but yeah, I love this. I love the thought process which you had given, and hope audience will also enjoy the same. Before moving on to the next talk, I want to just let all of you know a few things so that easy for you who has joined late to get in touch with the speakers and our things. So first of all, after Rishi's talk, which is the next talk, which is the last talk for the day, if you have any questions, just shoot out the questions and the speakers will be happy to help you out. The second thing is there's a poll which is being broadcasted. You can right-click, you can see on the right side of the handle, there's a polls option. So you can click on that. You can answer the same, whatever is right according to you. And yeah, so request all of you to, after the event is over, you can obviously like our social media handles like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, so that you will be informed about the future events as well, which is in store. We have a lot of exciting events coming up in this particular year as well. Tomorrow is a engaging event, is a half-day virtual event, AI in Masterclass, where we have 10 speakers. So if anybody of you is interested, I would love to have all of you coming into that. We have panel discussion. We have excellent speakers, 10 speakers you can think of, the ideas which you can get from those talks. And it's a half-day virtual event. It's just that you have to spend out your 3 hours in this, and you will gain a lot of knowledge and obviously networking as well. So just before moving on to Rishi, I again want to introduce Rishi so that every one of you is aware of the Rishi's profile, what he is. So Rishi is a AVP in Pactera Edge, and his topic obviously is future of retail and e-commerce with AI. So may we have Rishi on the stage, please? Thank you, Rishi.
Yeah, thank you, Nitin. Let me just share my screen.
Sure.
Yeah, just let me know if you can. It's properly, right? So, okay, great. So as Nitin introduced me, my name is Rishi. I'm working with Pactera Edge as Associate Vice President and helping a few retail CPG customers in their transformation journey. And I'll take time to, first of all, kudos to the previous speakers. I think Nikunj made my job very easy because he talked a lot about the use cases and everything related to the future of AI, what's happening right now, what is possibility in the future, right? So thank you, Nikunj. And now let's start with my talk. So first of all,
I hope I didn't cover anything that I wasn't supposed to. Sorry about that.
Okay, no, perfect. So so first thing first, where we are right now. So I think global pandemic has changed everything. So we kind of are facing this COVID-19 situation from last 2 years, right? We know for sure that it has impacted a lot of industries, right? Retail industry is one of them. So we have seen when last year when COVID was really on a high scale in US and in India also right now, a lot of stores were closed, right, based on the mandates. So people are shopping not in a store, but on moving the shopping experience toward the e-commerce platforms, right? And there were a lot of retailers were not mature on their e-commerce platforms. They were more focused on the store experiences for that time. So a lot of investment happened to make sure the e-commerce platform should be get mature enough, and there is more on spendings on the omni-channel service offering capabilities. And then later on, like when stores open, then still there was a mask mandate. Now recently, based on the direction from the president, mask mandate is not anymore. If you are vaccinated, you can go to store and without mask, right? But still, you never know what is coming in future. So precaution is better than anything. So looking at the global retail business, in a way, a couple of stats from these companies, right? So you look at like global retail market is expected to be $29.76 trillion US dollars by 2023. Out of that, e-commerce supposed to be $5.4 trillion, right, in 2022, which is pretty much high, and then that's what we have seen. If you look at most of the retail quarter results, their e-commerce sales grown to like 300%, for example, for Target. And normally it is like more than 50% for any retailer. So within that, if I have to pull like global retail AI market, that will also hit $20 billion by 2026 by facts and factors. And then within that, if you look at the retail analytics market size, that will also grow to $11.1 billion by 2025. That was published in the Market and Markets reports. But again, these are the, I would say, predictions. These are the forecasted numbers for the industry. But it's all about future. It's all about unknowns which are lying in the future, right? So these numbers can increase, can decrease. It all depends. Now, where the focus is based on the pandemic, either it is because of the pandemic or because of several other factors, right? So I think today's scenario, whether you talk about any retailer, whether it's Amazon or it's a Walmart or it's a Target or Lowe's, focus is providing, or it is any retailer, whether it's a specialty retailer or grocery retailer, right? Or it's a wholesale retailer like Costco or the Sam's Club. Whole focus is on the convenience to the customer, right? That is pretty much important. And to make that happen, all these omni-channel capabilities are there. For example, you have curbside pickup, you have same-day delivery, 2-hour delivery, right? How we can solve the last mile problem. A lot of focus on that part, and to solve those kind of problems, definitely you have to make sure that your supply chain need to be realigned, right? Or next gen supply chain. So a lot of investment on that area to make it more leaner, to make it more efficient, right? Because what you were predicting in past, like those insights are not applicable in today's scenario based on different new capabilities, right? For example, you can buy online and you can pick it from a store. You have the personal shoppers in the store doing purchase for you, right? So that is another area. And again, operation efficiency is anyways biggest a target for any retailer to have the return on investments which they are spending on these different initiatives. Altogether, what you want to achieve is improved customer experience, and last but not the least, the health and safety of the consumer and the associates who are working in the store, right? So that's where you see a lot of push on these capabilities, like contactless capabilities for the customers, right? Whether it's from a Walmart or Amazon or any other retailer, right? So I think these are the focus areas for most of the retailers in US or across the globe. Now, how the new ecosystem look like, if I have to talk about. So earlier it was more either you are offline or you are online. So, and a lot of time, fulfillment was also not happening in the silos for the online and for the offline system. But after the pandemic, it's whole new ecosystem, right? You have the e-commerce platforms, so they will definitely grow. They will be more mature. You will see more sales growth on the e-commerce platform with the help of marketplace, with the help of third-party sellers as well. But stores are not going to go away, right? Because end of the day, we are the human being, love touch and feel, right? So you definitely, every individual love to go to the store and look at the products, and then based on compare the products and then buy. So that is a different feeling altogether, which is human centric feeling. So you will see a lot of retailers actually investing a lot of money in the store modernization. So how they can make and feel as better as possible in a store, so that they can attract more customers in a store, even post pandemic, or even now, because stores are opening. Now, the third component in this new ecosystem is buy online, pick in a store, where you kind of are getting the benefit of online as well as offline. So you can actually you can buy, when you're placing the order online, you can compare the prices on different platforms, right? You can look at all the reviews and everything. So you are taking in credit and benefit of the online experience. But when you're going and picking in a store, you also taking the in-store experience, right? And that can you can actually push yourself to go and do more shopping, right, based on the store experience itself. So basically now I think it's it's integrated benefits when all these three components coming together in this ecosystem. And this is going to be, this will go further along the road, because it also brings operational excellence and the cost optimization in place. Now, still, there are a lot of challenges, so many challenges for these retailers, because what was happening in past is not happening anymore. Because of these different capabilities, the biggest problem, which is still any retailer is not able to solve, is the zero stock. We have seen that last year, even in Amazon, the masks were not available. The supplies were not available in the Walmart also. They were not available in the shelves, right? and even if they are available, the prices were so high. So the supply issue is already there, right? Whether it's on an e-commerce platform, or it's a in-store experience wise. So how you solve the zero stock problem, that's still a big thing for all the retailers, right? So damage of the product, shrink issues, right? The fraud which is happening on the marketplace, which is happening in store. So these challenges are still there. uh, Means I have listed down a couple of challenges and problems which we can look at it, right? And so to solve these problems, there where comes the AI, right? Means I think AI, I'll not use the word only AI, because that would be, because it's an ecosystem where you have AI, NLP models, algorithms, and then neural network and all that. I'll use the word intelligence, right? So how to solve those kind of a problem with the help of intelligence is the big thing. Whether you are solving those building intelligent digital platforms, or you are solving those with some other in-house initiative, right? So when I looked at those different problems, eventually they can actually fall into these different four categories. So you look at the stores and commerce, sales and marketing, supply chain, and customer support. I think Nikunj already talked about customer support and supply chain use cases, but I'll just bring again like some thoughts around it, right? So if you look at the store and e-commerce, right? So next thing which is very important is the voice enabled shopping, the conversational commerce, right? So where machine can actually interact with the human as a human. So that kind of experience is only possible with help of AI, right? Virtual product trials, right? So you just look at the article or the product, and you can actually see how it looked like on you, right? Means without even experiencing in the real time. And that would help to take a judgment whether you need to buy the product or not. The contactless payments, self-service platforms are really required, right? Where automation is there, the loss, shrink, fraud preventions, right? And it is happening across. The fraud could be anything. Fraud could be returns also, right? When people are using the product and returning it back to the store or back to the retailer, that is a fraud, because you already use the product for a certain amount of time. Shrink means now there are self checkouts, right? Now there is scan and go. How the retailer makes sure that your cart is completely scanned on the self checkout. There is no other item, right? So those kind of use cases are pretty important, and I think there is a lot of focus from retailers. So right now, if I look at it, another component is supply chain, right? So autonomous vehicle, autonomous drone delivery, right? So even Walmart and Amazon already piloted the drone delivery platforms. So drone is like a hardware, but what about the visibility platform which tracks everything behind the scene? That is where the AI is going to help you a lot. AI-based inventory tracking, right? That is very important. Anticipatory shipping is very important, right? Now, when it comes to sales and marketing, the personalization, right? You have these enterprise retailers have so many data leaks. How are you going to make sure that you build a data fabric top of that, and you have the better search, better relevancy, better personalization in place, whether in a store or e-commerce platform, right? So those things actually bring the better customer experience. That's the main thing why you want to have it. Now, from customer support perspective also, there are many use cases. If I have to tell you, still there are 86% retailers are experimenting with AI, but it is just experimentation. They have not scaled it on enterprise level. So involvement of AI in these use cases are still on a very minimal level, right? And the biggest challenge with that is the leadership, the collaboration, the transparency, right, within the silos. Because if you look at any retailer, means Nikunj can I think agree with me. People are experimenting with these intelligent platforms in the silos. They are not collaborating across as an enterprise, right? So they are not getting the benefit of platforms. They are not So a lot of time you see the challenges where sales comes and say, this is my prediction from analytics perspective, right? So supply will say, okay, this is different. So sales will say, I'm expecting to have 1 million sales in this particular store for this demographics for this time period. But supply will say, no, I am not expecting 1 million. I am expecting 800K and these particular articles. So there is a mismatch in the ecosystem still. So that is where, like, I think AI will need to pitch in, intelligence need to pitch in to solve the problem across. Other than that, like, I think personalization is key, but prediction, like, we will move from prediction to precision with the help of AI, right? And then we will also move from profitability to value delivering to your customers. So that's where the future is. If I have to tell from customer journey perspective, as of now, our customer journey is limited, where retailers ship the products at the door of the customer, and it ends there, right? But in future, what I'm expecting is the customer journey will go to next level, where retailers able to take those products, take those supplies, and put it in your refrigerator. Put it in your cell, like kitchen appliances, whatever related to kitchen into kitchen, whatever related to the your bedroom into bedroom, right? That's where the future is all about. The second is, right now, like, it's still even if I take an example of Amazon, it's a 1 hour delivery. So the future is where you even don't know that you need some product, but retailers would know based on the intelligence that this particular individual customer need this product at this particular point of time, and they will ship and beforehand, and you will have the product in your home even you have not ordered it, but you know for sure you need it, so you will be okay with that, right? So I think that is the next futuristic approach for these retailers, from business point of view, right? Now, from technology side of it, we literally talked about so much, but again, as I said, companies are experimenting right now, and the models we are building is still, like, what we hearing a lot is they have a lot of, there is a lot of bias baked into these models, right? So you have to make sure, like, these retailers have to make sure they invest a lot of time and effort into ethical and trustworthy AI. How they do it, whether it's a responsible AI, whether it's a mindful AI concept, how they bring those concepts and build the AI governance, which has rules, regulations, and policies built in with the help of legal. But end of the day, the AI governance is going to play a big role to make this whole ecosystem successful. And I think that's where I will close my talk, because that's the future from business perspective as well as technology perspective, leveraging with the help of AI. I'm open for question, and I'm passing it to Nitin. Over to you, Nitin.
Thank you, Rishi. Thank you for the lovely presentation and lovely insight into the retail industry. Thank you for the last presentation. I know this is the last for the day. May I have every speaker on the stage now? Pia, Nikunj, you can switch on your video as well. Pia, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So just to recap the day, we started with Pia, then we move on to Nikunj, and then with Rishi. So all of you had an engaging session, I tell you. Means it was lovely insight, and hope the audience who are there, they got the benefit out of today's webinar. Before moving on to the questions, I can see a couple of questions are there in the panel, in the discuss and question and answer. Tomorrow we are having the event. Tomorrow is AI Masterclass. It will start at 8:45 Central Time. So kindly log on to the platform. As the same platform, the link has already been emailed to all of you. We'll have a lovely sessions tomorrow as well. So couple of questions which I can see. So should I read out, Nikunj, Rishi, Pia? You, any one of you can take the question. So the first question, it's by let me see. First question by Anshu. Okay, Anshu Jain. So one of the things in small business sectors I keep worrying is we end up creating these elaborate feature models. Some of them, actually mostly all of them, hard to evaluate offline. And personalization can seem to be a lot of cost. How do we evaluate the ROI for this? What if they don't see comments metrics move? So this is the first question. It is there in the discuss thing as well. Any one of you want to take this question?
Sure, I can take a shot at it. So I'm a big fan of what we call the minimum lovable product, right? Where don't build the entire set of features to start with. It would be very difficult to justify the ROI. I think it's the incremental experimentation is the key over here, and see what level of engagement are we. So don't wait to build the entire set. Start with what is the minimum lovable product, define those features, and then do a rapid iteration and see the ROI. Also, make sure to drop out the ones that don't work. Many a times it's keep on adding features and think it's always better. No, simplicity is also good. So the ones that don't work, drop it out. It's kind of the sunk cost. So let it go, keep the product to the core and see what really strikes and keep iterating and improving on it. I think it will get you the ROI pretty fast.
Thank you. Yeah, Rishi.
I'll just add, I think Nikunj responded very well. Just to add on Nikunj's statements, right? So when it comes to business agility, right, it's pretty much important, right? How your product roadmap look like, right? You definitely start with your MEP and MLP, which is minimum lovable product, right? And then your roadmap actually defines when more features would be added and the business value you are getting out of it, right? From retailer perspective. So your MVP should include 80% of the business value which is coming out of it, because most of the products, 80% of the business value comes from 20% of the features, right? The rest of the 80% features, I'll actually bring only 20% of the business value. So those are the key things which you have to look at building your product roadmap, look at the prioritization based on the business value, right? And then start implementing those products.
Thank you. Hope Anshu got the reply. Pia, you want to add anything? Pia, we cannot listen to you. Just check your audio. Your audio was good, but I think there is something.
Pia, you are on mute.
Just. I think she made herself mute. Now you are on mute. Yeah, you can just log off and log in again, Pia. So let Pia join. She can take the answer for this. So there's another question. One of the biggest challenges is to convert. Yeah, Pia.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah, hey, yes, absolutely.
Finally.
I don't know what happened.
I was going to talk about feature reduction and feature reduction techniques. Clearly,
it happens
is
sometimes. So, Pia, you wanted to add something on this?
Just two very quick points. So, one was I love a good feature reduction technique. So, I think we should definitely use them, especially when we have hundreds and hundreds of features using Lasso or PCA, whatever it is, whatever is your favorite method or whatever works, I think will be important. And then the second is, I think testing platforms are often underrated and underutilized. So having multiple models in production and testing them out and seeing the incremental value, back to both Nikunj and Rishi's points, I think is what helps people decide. And I think there should be a lot of focus on using them.
Yeah,
that's all I had to say.
No, thank you, Pia. Thank you for the thought. I think, and I can see that Anshu has replied that it makes sense. Thank you. So the next question by Bhuvesh Bhagwani. So what he has written is, one of the biggest challenges is to convert visitors into paying customers. An e-com website might have a lot of traffic, a lot of clicks and impressions, but they aren't making the sales they anticipated. So it's for the sales. How to get through that?
Yeah, I think this is $1 million question, right? Or $1 billion. But I think the one is contextualization of providing the customers with the information right there, what they're looking for. And I think this goes back to the thought I shared earlier, where you have a dynamic experience built up, right? You understand me better, you know what I might be looking for, and highlighting the right set of products which are more applicable to my taste, more applicable to my background, and more applicable to the needs that I have. So that will easily translate to sales. If you have a huge catalog of products, and if I have to browse through that, I'll probably shortlist a few and come back later because it will get me confused. If you give me the context and the information right up front, plus whatever answers that I might need. So many times I've seen the descriptions in the catalog, they are static. Uh, how about looking at the reviews, looking at the Q&As, and bringing some of those answers back into the description of the product itself? Which, if there are a lot of people asking the same question, which means that it's not getting answered in some way. Why would you make me look for that information? Give me that upfront, that helps my decision process, and that in turn translates to a higher sale. So as much as or whatever you can do to improve that experience of the customer when they are on the site and answer their questions, make it more contextual, I think there is a more likelihood of conversion. There are no guarantees always anyways, but the conversion rates would definitely improve.
Yeah. Obviously, there's no guarantee of any sales of in any sales if you see any technology. So you have to get the ways out how to do that. There are lots of ways, obviously, to get into impression. You have a lot of marketing channels which helps you out as well. But yeah, you have to search the way out. There's no right or wrong answer for this particular question. Rishi, you want to add anything, or Pia? Yeah, Pia.
Oh, no, I was saying that it'll also be interesting to understand what the problem really is with the sales not happening. Is it product quality, which is then a different issue, or is it not enough marketing dollars, which is another issue, or is it somewhere in the flow itself, which I think will be really interesting if you have the log level data in order to understand whether people are where they're getting stuck when they go from search to click to adding something to the cart to checking out. Is there a particular page where something happens, or is it at the search itself that is where you're losing people? So I think the key will be to understand where the problem lies first in order to be able to get the solution.
There are a lot of remarketing ads as well. Means you can see what is going on, then you can understand the customer behavior. That's why all these AI tools are in the market. There are lots of actually. So which tools can get you all these data? It's important to get into them. Rishi, anything?
No, just last thing, I think Nikunj and Pia already covered everything. Only thing like how efficient your customer segmentation is also, add a lot of value. Whether it's a new customer on site, right, or it's a new lead on site, or it's a loyal customer who has a shopping pattern with the brand.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a combination of all the things I think which you all have mentioned. So you have to see the start, you have to see the end, what is in between, where it is lacking. So all the points I think which you all covered includes that. I hope Bhuvesh got the answer for the question which he has asked. Sinan wrote, technology is great when it works.
When it gives you the right results, right outcomes, then it is great. Otherwise, basically that's a reason. It's still 80% of the AI initiatives fails. It's still 70% of digital transformation engagements bring no value, right, for any of the customer, whether it's any industry. I'm not just talking about retail, but any industry.
Yeah. Any other questions? Any of you have for the speakers? Okay, there's one question by Sirish Minapalli. When we start any e-com website, we naturally don't have enough user base as we are gradually building up. So it's for a startup, something like you are building up. If we want to differentiate ourselves as AI-driven e-com site, when is the right time to implement certain features like how you mentioned in your webinar today?
From the start.
Yeah.
I think even
Lovely
if you
question.
don't implement the machine learning from the start, please do collect the data and make sure that the data stays, so that whenever your business is ready for it, if you decide to bring on data professionals, they will have all of that historical data to be able to work with and build you wonderful features.
Yeah. So go ahead, Nikunj.
Go ahead. Finish it off.
Oh, you want me to go? Okay, that's fine. So my simple advice is, don't look for the technology at the first place, right? Look at the human-centric approach and the customer centricity at the top. So look at what customer needs are and how you can achieve with the design thinking or human-centric approach, and then basically then the emerging tech comes into the picture, and you pick and choose the technology which you need to build those kind of platforms, right? So if you talk about any transformation journey, you talk about people, process, and the platform. So the people and the process is, I think, superior than the technology because it's available. So you can build it or you can buy it. That's your choice. But the first two are where the big problems are. Either it's a startup or it's a large enterprise in both the cases. So just advise, look at those aspects beforehand, then jump into the technology.
Yeah. I think, Rishi, you and I think alike. I was going to say the same thing. Work backwards. Define the experience first. AI is an enabler. Yes. You want to differentiate that. Make sure if you're looking at it from a technology standpoint purely, as Priya said, start from the beginning, make it native. But it shouldn't be driven by technology. It should be driven by the experience that you want to deliver to the customer. This is an enabler. It is AI. AI field is evolving. So what you use today will change tomorrow anyways. So, but just make sure you are designing the system flexible enough for you to be able to do the experimentations, and more so also measure the results. Should be able to rapidly bring out the features, bring out the experiences, evaluate the response, and scale back in 2 days, 2 weeks, whatever it is. But you should be able to do this rapid experimentation for the right experience.
Absolutely. I think experience is the main thing. Like we are experiencing this platform, for example. This is a floor by 10 times. So new platform for everyone. So this is the experience. Means you liked it or don't like it. Obviously, it's individual choice. But same goes for any website. I think any other website. If you're starting or if you're in the advanced stages as well. Experience is what counts. Thank you, Nikunj. Thank you for giving the insight, I think. And thank you, Rishi, and thank you, Pia, I think. We had a lovely conversation. So when question comes, obviously, that means that you have something and people want to understand more. So any other question, guys, which you want, you can put that in the discuss that what people are doing that. Hope, Sirish, your answer, you got the answer for your question as well. So if you want, you can raise the hand as well. So what happens when you raise the hand, you can come on camera, means you can be live. So there's an option that there's a raise hand.
So Nitin, you are telling end of the webinar.
not the end of the webinar. So people can ask, they can come on the stage, they can ask the questions. So anyway, I'm just explaining. I'm the enabler, you can say. Means I'm reading out the question and asking. But yeah, they can also come and they can ask if anybody has if anybody wants to do that. Got a reply from Suresh. Great, thank you. Data gathering and human experience is the key. Thank you, Suresh.
Yeah, I think
So
someone raised the hand, I guess. Like I saw her hand flashing, right? I think, yeah, somebody.
Yeah,
Yes.
Abhi. Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Hi, Abhi.
Hi, everyone. First of all, wonderful session and wonderful presentations and great points to follow through on those. Just one point of discussion. I'm curious to see how Horizon 3 technologies, in your view, are going to be impacting this segment, right? So, for instance, with quantum computing, and I know we're doing a lot of drone, but avionics becoming a major program in the next decade or so. How do you see this whole segment change with Horizon 3? Horizon 2, we're able to see what's happening, but what are your thoughts on Horizon 3?
Yeah, actually, Horizon 3's growth is completely dependent on the spending on the Horizon 3 initiatives also, right? So when you do when you spend the budget in a agile way, right, on your Horizon 1, 2, and 3 and 4 almost, right? So it is really important, like how you distribute your budget within the different initiatives based on the value they are delivering on the table. And that could be different for any retailer, any customers in a different way, right?
Mm-hmm.
For few, Horizon 2 is more critical than Horizon 3. I mean, they don't have appetite to take it, right? And for the large retailers or large enterprises, right, they have enough power to spend in the Horizon 3 itself because they have next 5-year roadmap to compete with another big retailer, right? So it completely depends on where your spendings are, where you are fund, what kind of initiatives you want to fund in Horizon 3. If the fundings are appropriate, then you definitely want to build those solutions because you have the expertise either in-house or you can buy the expertise from the market, right? So it all together combination of the funding process, combination of your built-in house expertise, right, and the right initiative, the right business value in place. So AI is one of them, like AI initiatives.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think to me, more critical is the funding process, right, for any retailer.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Rishi. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
How do I raise my hand down?
You look good, Abhi, I think. It's okay. So when you click on this hand, I think it lets you down.
Yeah.
You can just try. Yeah. Yes.
Got it. Nice.
Thank you. Thank you for everything. I think if we'll wait for 1 minute and we'll see if anyone wants to raise hand or want to ask questions.
Sounds good.
So guys, before ending the session, we'll wait for 1 minute. That's what I told. Just to remind all of you, tomorrow we are having a session, AI in Masterclass. We have lots of variety of topics there as well. So today was you can say a themed event, themed webinar, AI in retail and e-commerce. Tomorrow it's more of a different segment where AI is being used. We have AI in healthcare, we have AI in all the industries. So it will cover many aspects. So hope to see all of you tomorrow as well. Engaging one, and half day it starts at 8:45 a.m. CST time. So you all can join and enjoy the day. Obviously, you can flip on, flip off, means you can hop on, hop off. That is the language we can say. I mean, if you don't like any session, you can just skip on, you can just join another one. So all is possible. And obviously, it's 20 minutes each sessions, what we happened just now today as well. So there's a panel discussion as well tomorrow. So in the panel, we'll discuss future of AI in retail in the retail and e-commerce. So that is one of the topic tomorrow as well. So thank you, Pia, thank you, Nikunj, thank you, Rishi. I think it was a lovely sessions for all of you, and hope you all have a great day today. In case of anything, you can always reach out to me. I'm always there to help you out. You have my mobile number, and you have my email ID. So in case of any problem, in case of anything audience wants to understand, they can also reach out to us. We can help you reach out to all the speakers so that in case any question is not answered, they can answer you, they can network, you can enrich your knowledge session. So any questions you have, always you can reach out to us. Our email ID is there with you, so don't feel free to shoot anytime. So see you all of you tomorrow. Thank you, all of the speakers, and thank you the audience. Have a lovely day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nitin. It was a great experience here, and good to meet you, Nikunj and Pia as well. And people who are to connect to us, like definitely reach out on LinkedIn with any questions, any kind of discussion if they want to have it related to what they're doing. If they want some advice, I would be happy to connect. Thank you.
Sure. I think that is the purpose of all these platforms. Means whatever we are trying to do, we are trying to create an ecosystem where knowledge sharing as well as networking can be one way of going forward. So this is the way. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Take care, everyone. Bye. Have a good day.